Take a look around you. Pick out 6 people in this room. Statistically, 1 of the 6 will be food insecure. Perhaps it's you. I'm a member of the High Plains Food Bank Board of Directors, and every day we struggle to keep our shelves and our freezers full so that we can provide nutritious meals to people in the top 29 states, counties of Texas. And I will tell you, the High Plains Food Bank is a paragon among food banks. We are held up as an example, but we still struggle, and we're not any different from any other food bank in America. The struggle is there daily. We have hungry people, and we don't have enough food to feed them. This is a huge issue in America, the number of hungry people we have. So I'm going to break it down a little bit. I'm going to discuss childhood hunger, the issues that hunger has on our education and social issues. And then at the end, I'm going to follow it up with some things that you and I can do as individuals to actually solve this issue. We have to realize that hunger kills productivity. Hunger kills creativity. Hunger kills health. Hunger kills futures. First, let's look at the plight of hungry children in the United States and how that impacts our social issues. According to a 2012 report by the United States Department of Agriculture, a family is insecure, food insecure, if they don't have enough food on a daily basis to feed their family. That means like a family can struggle with hunger daily, or it could just be a couple of times a month where they run out of money and they can't afford to buy food. But that same report goes on to say that in 2011, we had 17.9 million households, not individuals, households, who were considered food insecure. That's 14.9% of all households in the United States. That's a huge number of people who are struggling to eat daily. While these facts are incredible, it's important to realize that hungry children are going to cause a greater health and social issue for our country in the future. A May 19, 2013 USDA report said, and I want to quote this because I think it's very powerful, food security is especially important for children because their nutrition affects not only their current health, but also their physical, mental, and social development, and thus their future health and well-being. So in the future, because they're hungry today, we're going to help them in the future because they didn't get a good start. Now back in 2009, there was a group that did a study for Feeding America and for ConAgra Food Foundation. And what they found is, and I want to quote this again because it's very powerful, because I don't think that we realize the impact that this is having on our country. If you don't have a hungry person in your family, you may not realize that they're out there. So this report by Dr. John Cook and Karen Young says, hungry children ages 3 years, 0 to 3 years, cannot learn as much, as fast, or as well because chronic undernutrition harms their cognitive development. So those are 0 to 3-year-olds who are already struggling to keep up. Once they get into school, the report says that they don't make the grades, they can't keep up with their classmates, and they can't concentrate on what the teacher is trying to give them to learn. When they're adults, so we're talking about these kids today that are hungry, once they become adults, they're not well prepared physically, mentally, emotionally, or even socially to join a workforce, all because they were hungry when they were a child. Now we have to reverse this trend. It's a huge issue. So it may seem like there's too much here to deal with, but the hungry children of today are going to drain our country's future economy, and we have to stop it. But there's good news. We can stop it. There's already programs in place that can actually solve this problem. Now, I know we've heard a lot of issues lately about how people are taking advantage of, say, the food stamp situation. But the food stamps, WIC, that which is Women and Infants and Children, the school lunch program and the school breakfast program, they actually solve this problem. They're feeding kids. They're getting nutrition to the people who need it. Sure, there are people who take advantage, and we need to patrol that. And our government has to do a better job to make sure that the people who need these services get them. But there's also, it's good to know, there's food out there. Who would have known that in America we waste 40% of our food? In an article called Wasted by Dana Gunders, she wrote in August of 2012 that 40% of food in America today goes uneaten. Who would have thought? That's when you buy something at the grocery store and you let it go bad and you chunk it. She says Americans are throwing out the equivalent of $165 billion, that's billion with a B, of food each year. I know I don't throw out that much, but I probably have a good portion of my food that I do throw out that I could have saved. I could have donated it to somebody. If we were to just salvage 15% of the food that's thrown away, we could feed 25 million Americans. Just 15% of the stuff that we're trashing. So there are some things out there that we can actually do to solve this problem. As you can see, the need is great. When it can be overwhelming, you're thinking, hey, how am I supposed to go out and feed all these children? Well, let's just start small. Let's start with one child. Let's start with one organization. Most big cities have food banks, and smaller communities have small agencies that are supported by the food bank. The food bank sends out food to these agencies that are daycare centers, senior citizen centers, some churches who have what you would call a soup kitchen to help people who are hungry. So we can actually volunteer to help with these organizations. They always need hands to help serve that food. They'll cook it for you, but they need someone to actually scoop it and put it on the plate. And let's not forget money. Some of us think, well, I don't have enough money to actually give away. Our food bank here in Amarillo can take a $5 donation and turn it into $50 worth of food. And that's a great thing. They have co-ops all across the nation with other food banks. So they're actually meeting that need. So they love your money. And I know that these facts are daunting. But here's some good news. Feeding America, which actually oversees all the food bank systems, they're feeding through their Kids Cafe 122,000 children annually. Now I know that seems like a small number when I've already told you the millions and billions and how big this issue is. But hey, that's better than zero, right? So as individuals, we can take actions. We can resolve this childhood hunger. We can give back children their creativity. We can give them back their productivity. We can give them back their health. We can give them back their futures. All we have to do is care enough to help the youngsters who can't help themselves.